Yes, sir. Test, test, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, he pre-recorded, right? Yeah. Thanks for joining us for Arc Salt Lake tonight. I'm Heidi Hatch. It is Monday, December 29th. Tonight, we're taking a look at a new court decision that could give an unexpected glimpse into the Charlie Kirk murder trial. We start in Utah County, where we are getting our first look into a closed hearing for the accused assassin of Charlie Kirk. Today in court, the judge in the Tyler Robinson case ordering transcripts be released with limited redactions. Brian Malahy was at the courthouse today and reports from Spanish Fork.
Tyler Robinson listened to today's hearing from here in jail.
Mr. Robinson, are you with us?
Yes, Your Honor.
Those were the only words from Robinson as Judge Tony Graf explained his reasons for releasing more than 80 pages of transcripts from a closed October hearing. Transcripts show defense lawyers wanted no shackles for Robinson in court, civilian dress for him, and no news cameras in the courtroom. There was even discussion on potential restrictions on what the press could report in the case. In releasing the transcripts, the judge said this.
The court's sole objective in this process has been to ensure a fair, orderly, and lawful proceeding that reflects the constitutional rights of the parties while honoring the public's qualified right of access.
The judge said the redactions are less than 250 words. Erica Kirk says news cameras should stay in the courtroom. In Spanish Fork, Utah, I'm Brian Malahy reporting.
And now we want to take a closer look for you at a timeline of events that got us to today's hearing. The shooting at Utah Valley University happened around 12:20 in the afternoon, Wednesday, September 10th. 2 days later, on Friday, authorities announced Robinson was in custody for Kirk's shooting and booked him into the Utah County Jail. September 16th, Robinson made his initial court appearance over Zoom earlier this month. Robinson appearing in court for the first time in those civilian clothes. You can stay with 2 News on air and online for the very latest developments in the Tyler Robinson case. In the meantime, you can find our previous reporting and interviews at KUTV.com and the 2 News YouTube page. We do have new video tonight from Salt Lake City Police showing officers responding to a call where an officer fired their weapon. It happened early in the morning, December 13th, near West Pierpont Avenue. Multiple officers responded to the area after a call for a fight. The body camera from the 2 officers recording the sound of multiple gunshots. At the same time, officers near the Perry Hotel saw a car speeding off. A passenger in that vehicle fired shots towards the officers. One officer returned fire. No injuries here reported. Now, preliminary information shows the officer who fired their weapon was not dispatched to the call and their body camera was not on at the time. The officer is now on paid administrative leave. The West Valley City Police Department conducting an independent investigation. And covering Utah County, where disturbing images caught on video led to a man being arrested for aggravated child abuse. Employees at Primary Children's Hospital in Lehigh reported concerns to Child and Family Services, and then police watched video of a 4-year-old patient with autism being choked and partially smothered. This while being monitored for seizures. Police say that Jesse Scott Rogers was seen lying in bed with the boy when he forcefully put his hands on his neck and later put his thumbs in the boy's eyes. Rogers was arrested yesterday on felony aggravated child abuse charges. And covering southern Utah, where a man under arrest accused of hitting an Iron County Sheriff's deputy several times with a golf club. Michael Torp in the Iron County Jail facing charges for felony assault on a peace officer with a dangerous weapon. Documents show the incident started just after 8 on Saturday night when Utah Highway Patrol attempted to pull over a truck registered in Torp's name. The truck drove off from that stop and was spotted again Sunday at a gas station in Cedar City. According to court documents, Torp got 2 golf clubs from the bed of the truck and hit the deputy 3 times. Some developing news tonight. Utah Governor Spencer Cox initiating a review of Utah's safeguards to avoid fraud in daycares. It comes after national fraud allegations in Minnesota. Cox saying that fraud is unacceptable and stressed Utah's zero-tolerance approach to the fraud, waste, and abuse. He says Utah's system includes regulated providers, verified eligibility, direct payments, electronic attendance tracking, and regular audits. Cox saying the review is a proactive step to ensure those safeguards are working as intended. He did not give a timeline for completion of the audit. The Trump administration is now doling out $50 billion to prop up rural health care systems. About half of those funds will be distributed to states evenly. The rest will be divided based on a formula that takes into account rural population size and whether states implement health policies favored by the Trump administration. The funding comes as the country braces for steep Medicaid cuts that were required and passed in the One Big Beautiful Bill. According to the Congressional Budget Office, rural communities will be among the hardest hit as they're slated to lose $137 billion in Medicaid funds over the next 10 years. The state epidemiologist says it looks like Utah may be getting hit with a severe flu this season. The Department of Health and Human Services reporting so far this flu season, there have been nearly 400 hospitalizations. Natalie Wattis spoke with the state epidemiologist who says this year's strain is hitting some regions hard.
How has it been so far at the pharmacy this flu season?
You know, it has been a busy flu season. We've seen a ton of people saying influenza A going around.
Jolly's Corner Pharmacy is near the Yale Crest Heights community in Salt Lake City.
Family after family getting Tamiflu. We actually went through our whole supply of flu shots that we've had this year, so we're out for the season now, unfortunately, but it's busy flu season. We went through the supply we had.
State epidemiologist Dr. Leisha Nolan says this year's flu season, which runs October to about May, looks to be coming in fairly early and fairly severely.
We were hoping for a mild year, but I don't think we can promise that.
Dr. Nolan says multiple strains of flu circulate every year, but says this year's specific variant, influenza A, is hitting areas of the U.S. hard.
Utah hasn't gotten it to that severely yet, but I think we're just in the beginning. We often are a little delayed compared to other parts of the U.S. I am worried we're going to go up to have quite a few people sick with flu as well.
Dr. Nolan says a recent report found the current vaccine to be very protective for children and young adults against this year's strain. For adults, she says it's not quite as protective, but
it is a good thing to still go and get that flu vaccine if you haven't had a chance. As this new flu virus gets around, it's good to have whatever protection you can have.
Just recommending people wash your hands really good and, you know, try to stay away from sick people.
If you do come down with the flu, here are some of those treatment options. Stay home for 7 days after your symptoms begin, or they say until you're symptom-free for 24 hours. Get plenty of rest, drink clear fluids to keep from being dehydrated, cover those coughs and sneezes, clean hands with soap and water or alcohol-based hand gel, and avoid close contact with others. You should go to the hospital if you do have difficulty breathing, discolored lips or vomiting, have signs of dehydration, or being less responsive than normal. The Utah Utes football team preparing now for their final game of the season without former head coach Kyle Whittingham. Whittingham will not be coaching the Citrus Bowl in Las Vegas on New Year's Eve. Utah taking on the Nebraska Cornhuskers, that is. This will be Morgan Scaley's head coaching debut for the Utes. Game time set for 1:30 on Wednesday. Adam Mikulich will be there for coverage leading up to, and then, of course, the game day. Kyle Whittingham has been head coach at the University of Utah since December of 2004 and was an assistant coach before that. He says football is a way of life.
It's who I am, you know, it embodies me. I've, you know, for what, 40-something years I've been involved in football every single season without interruption, and so that's it's just it's in my fabric. I mean, it's a way of life.
That was an older Whittingham interview, so I guess he's younger. From his 9-game winning streak against BYU to the victory over Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, back-to-back Rose Bowl appearances, and what it was like losing 2 players to gun violence. We're taking a look back at Coach Witt's historic career at the University of Utah. You can watch the end of an era, the Kyle Whittingham legacy. It'll be on our YouTube page starting on New Year's Day. The Utah Jazz are back at the Delta Center tomorrow night looking for their 3rd straight win. The Jazz hosting the Boston Celtics. That's tomorrow night. Tip-off from the Delta Center at 7. The Jazz have won back-to-back games against two of the best teams in the NBA, the Pistons and the Spurs. You can watch tomorrow night's game on your home of the Jazz, KJazz Channel 14. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:30. And the Utah Mammoth are at the Delta Center tonight hosting the Nashville Predators. The Mammoth's first win of the season actually came in Nashville. That was October 11th. After tonight's game, you can see the schedule here. The team headed east to take on the New York Islanders on New Year's Day. Then New Jersey Devils 2 days later and New York Rangers a week from tonight. And coming up here on Arc Salt Lake, a nonprofit is suing President Donald Trump to stop the White House ballroom construction. Why the Trump administration says the project must move forward. Next month, the White House's East Wing ballroom construction will be at the center of arguments in a federal courtroom. Christian Flores from our sister station in Washington, D.C. breaks down the legal case and explains why the White House says construction cannot stop.
Obviously, there have been a number of changes at the White House over the decades. Changes like the Truman balcony, President Wilson's rose garden, among several other additions. But none have been quite like the demolition of the East Wing for a new ballroom, according to George Washington University professor and historian Matthew Dalek.
Presidents have added a swimming pool, bowling alley, but there's really nothing comparable. I mean, no president has taken a literal wrecking ball to a historic and iconic part of the White House without any pre-approval.
This project now at the center of a legal battle in federal court with the next court date on January 15th. The National Trust for Historic Preservation is suing to halt this construction, arguing the White House did not get the necessary approval from Congress and other commissions, and this will cause permanent harm.
It's public property, and it should be governed by public law and regulatory process.
The White House's lawyers countering, saying plans are not finalized, so it's not known if there will be irreversible damage, and the president is exempt from the same approval process as other federal agencies. They also argue construction must continue to meet the Secret Service's national security requirements.
We're building a ballroom. They've wanted a ballroom for 150 years, and I'm giving that honor to this wonderful place. We'll have the most beautiful ballroom in the country.
The judge ruled against the preservationist group's emergency request to stop the project until the January hearing, finding they did not prove irreparable harm, allowing construction to continue. This is a case, Dalek says, that is entering uncharted territory.
The laws were not always written with this in mind, right? Like, this is somewhat of a new scenario, right? It's a new case.
The same order from the judge warning the White House the court can step in before the next hearing if any work done now will change the size or scale of the ballroom.
You know, a judge is not magical, right? The judge cannot simply bring the East Wing back, right? So even if a judge were to rule that the destruction of the East Wing violated preservation law, well, so what's the remedy, right? There is no real remedy.
Christian Flores, 7 News.
Get this, you might start seeing fewer Starbucks shops around after decades of constant growth. The chain is now shrinking its presence in some major U.S. cities. Starbucks planning to close about 400 locations, mostly in large metropolitan areas. It's due to rising competition in saturated areas, remote work, and higher costs. The company says it will now focus on fewer, stronger locations and new designs in 2026. And a powerful winter storm blanketing much of the Midwest, dumping snow and bringing whiteout conditions to the roads. Zero visibility and ice causing accidents from Iowa all the way to Michigan and Minnesota, where jackknife tractor trailers line the highways. A suspected tornado touching down in central Illinois on Sunday, scattering debris and damaging buildings, including some that were total losses. At Chicago O'Hare Airport, conditions brought some planes to a stop. There have been thousands of cancellations and delays nationwide over the last few days, with more expected in the coming week.
We were supposed to leave last night, then we got delayed till like 8, and then they canceled it until today.
More than 100 million people have been under high wind advisories. The storm also expected to send temperatures plunging in the south as the Arctic cold front moves towards Florida and the Gulf. Well, right now we've got to talk about our own weather. It's finally feeling cold and winter-like here in Utah. Meteorologist Chase Thomason has that first alert forecast.
Well, it looks like December will go down in the record books. What we don't like to see is the low amount of snowfall, unless you're a fan of the warmer weather. But only 1/10 of an inch of snow in Salt Lake City when we average about a foot for the month. And I'm not forecasting any more snowfall so far in the month of December. Maybe as we head into January, fingers crossed, we'll get a little bit, definitely in the mountains. Remember last year, though, we only had 1 inch and 2/10. So the last couple years haven't been very snowy here in Salt Lake City, but at least we broke that snowless streak on Saturday with 1/10 of an inch at the airport. Temperatures today, chilly, light northerly winds, clear skies, recipe for mid-30s, but this is actually closer to average here along the Wasatch Front. Logan just below freezing at 31 degrees. We have a little bit of snow on the ground for some areas. Mid-30s in central Utah today, and we made it to 52 in St. George. You probably notice a little bit of that valley haze. It gets a little bit thicker, I think, with valley inversion strengthening by tomorrow and on Wednesday. So we're going to start to see our air quality decline into the moderate category. Good news, we were going to break the inversion by Wednesday night into Thursday as our next storm begins to roll in, so some good clean air is likely by the end of the week. You can take this ridge of high pressure right on top of Utah Tuesday and Wednesday, but our next weather maker is a storm system coming from the southwest. What does that mean? That means it has some mild air, some tropical moisture, and that'll be filtering in across the entire state of Utah by late Wednesday night, which is New Year's Eve, and into New Year's Day. And then there's another storm that rolls in, mainly for the northern half of the state, just in time for the weekend. So a little unsettled with some mainly valley rain and mountain snow in the forecast. So here we are for your Tuesday. We'll have mainly clear skies across the state, but here comes that cloud cover as that tropical moisture lifts northward. We'll likely see more clouds on Wednesday, but most of the rain on New Year's Eve will be out in California. Now, if you're ringing in the new year, the best chance for rain where you might need an umbrella is southwestern Utah. So Cedar City and St. George, there could be a little bit of rain at midnight. Leaving the forecast dry for Salt Lake, but shortly after, some of that rain will be moving in. Valley rain, mountain snow levels starting at about 7,000 feet could climb to 8,000 feet Thursday afternoon with more on and off rain. It won't be a complete washout, and a few showers could linger into Friday morning. Right now, it looks like we could get about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of rain along the I-15 corridor, so not a big storm. Maybe up in the mountains, probably above 8,000 feet, we could get about 3 to 8 inches of that heavy, wet snow. Temperatures for tonight, definitely cold with these clear skies. Teens and 20s for most of us. Look at Heber at 14 degrees for tonight, but a nice little rebound for tomorrow. Heber, you're at 47. We'll see low 40s along the Wasatch Front. Might be a little bit warmer along those benches because of those inversions. Cedar at 48, 53 in St. George, and Kanab coming in at 51 degrees. Ringing in the new year, mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the upper 30s, and again, those showers developing after midnight here in Salt Lake. St. George, though, those temperatures will stay in the 50s and will likely not even drop many degrees because that system is coming from the southwest and will climb into the upper 50s by the weekend under mostly cloudy skies. Now Salt Lake 41, little hazy, 45 and mostly cloudy on Wednesday. And notice even with the rain, temperatures climbing into the 50s by the end of the weekend into the weekend, a little cooler into next week with temperatures in the mid 40s.
All right, Chase, thank you. Coming up here on ARC Salt Lake, cities across the country are now preparing to ring in the new year later this week. We'll show you what organizers in New York City's Times Square are doing, plus where you can see the only fireworks display in the Salt Lake County area.
2, 1. Happy New Year! Oh my golly!
Final preparations are underway in Times Square for New Year's Eve. Organizers tested out the confetti today at Broadway Plaza. Who knew you had to test it, but apparently it works. The plan is to release 3,000 pounds of confetti at midnight New Year's Eve. Each piece of confetti will include wishes from people who have submitted them at the New Year's Eve wishing wall in Times Square. So fun stuff ahead. Also today, crews installing the final Waterford crystals on this year's Times Square New Year's Eve ball. It is known as the Constellation. Organizers say the crystals celebrate life, liberty, and happiness and will honor our nation's 250th anniversary. Hey, if you're still looking for New Year's Eve plans, the Gateway Mall in Salt Lake City hosting a free celebration for the family. From 8 p.m. until midnight on Wednesday, the Gateway will have live entertainment, a vendor village, and the city's only New Year's Eve fireworks show. There'll be indoor and outdoor pop-up bars as well, plus a game room with karaoke and hot chocolate. Gateway restaurants and shops will be open late as well. The night will end with a fireworks show at midnight, marking the start of 2026. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you back here for 2 News at 9 and 10 p.m.